Hi there. Welcome to the currency pairs video. We're going to introduce you, first of all, to what is a currency pair. We're going to look at the prominent order of currencies. We're going to look at what makes a major currency pair and what are the major currency pairs. We're going to take a look at some cross currency pairs and take a look at what is a currency quote. Two currencies are paired up and then they are compared against each other. Now, the first currency in a currency pair is called the base currency, and the second in a currency pair is called the quote currency. And in the example, the Euro USD or the Euro US dollar, the Euro is the base currency and the US dollar becomes the quote currency. As we look at a chart, the chart, we'll notice, goes up and goes down. The base currency, which is the first currency in the pair, as it gains strength compared to the second currency, as the base currency gets stronger, the chart will go up. And as the base currency weakens, the chart will go down. The weaker the base currency is in relation to the quote currency, the chart will fall. It's important to note that it's a comparison between the two currencies. So the quote currency being the second currency, if it gets stronger, the base currency will, in comparison, get weaker. So it's a relative comparison between the base and the quote currencies. As currency pairs are formed, you're going to notice that there is an order, a prominent order of currencies. We'll go through the list here. These are the 8 commonly traded currencies, and they are in the order of their appearance, as it were. These go from the strongest to the weakest. And from this list, in this order, we can tell how to build a currency pair. The top of the list is the euro, followed by the Great Britain pound, then the Australian dollar, followed by the New Zealand dollar, followed by the United States dollar, then the Canadian dollar, the Swiss franc, and then finally at the bottom of the totem pole is the Japanese yen. When you take two currencies and put them together to form a currency pair, the base currency will be the currency that's higher up on the list. The quote currency will be the currency that is lower on the list. So for example, if you're pairing the euro with the United States dollar, number 1 and number 5, you'll notice that the euro is higher on the list. The United States dollar is lower than the euro. So the currency pair will become the Euro USD. And then let's say, and for another example, you take the United States dollar and pair it up against the Canadian dollar. You'll notice that the United States dollar is number 5 and it's higher on the list than the Canadian dollar at number 6. So the currency pair becomes the USD Canadian dollar. The USD in that pair becomes the base currency, and the Canadian dollar, because it's lower on the list, becomes the quote currency. Again, another final example, the Australian dollar and the Japanese yen. Australian dollar is number 3. It becomes the base currency. Japanese yen, number 8, becomes the quote currency simply because it is lower on the chart on this order of operation, order of prominence. So it becomes the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Now the Japanese yen is at the bottom, so no matter what it's paired up with, it will always be the last. And conversely, the euro is at the top of the list, so no matter what it's paired up with, the euro will always be the base currency. Japanese yen will always be the quote currency. Currency pairs involving the United States dollar are referred to as the majors, the major currency pairs. It doesn't matter if the United States dollar or the USD is the base currency or the quote currency. If it's in the pair, and out of those 8 currencies that we looked at, you form a currency pair, and if it involves the US dollar, it is considered a major currency pair. And the major pairs will be the Euro USD, the GBP USD, the Australian dollar US dollar, the New Zealand dollar US dollar, the US dollar CAD, the US dollar Swiss franc, and the US dollar Japanese yen. Now, some of these currencies have some odd names to them. the Euro USD, Euro dollar, that makes sense. The Pound USD, the Pound dollar. The Australian dollar is called the Aussie. So we have the Aussie dollar. New Zealand, that's referred to as the Kiwi. So we have the Kiwi dollar. The US dollar, Canadian dollar is often referred to as the loonie. So we have the dollar loonie. The Swiss franc is the Swissy, so the dollar Swissy, and then the dollar yen. That one doesn't have a fancy name like the others. Currency pairs that do not have the US dollar are considered cross-currency pairs. The Euro Pound, for example, the Euro Swissy, the Euro Yen, the Pound Aussie, the Pound Yen, the Aussie Swissy, the Kiwi Yen. These are all considered cross-currency pairs because they do not have the US dollar involved. Now, one of the reasons they're called cross-currency pairs is that all of these, in order to figure out how much one currency is worth against the other, it goes through the US dollar first. Now, there is a crossover, the euro to the US dollar to the pound. There is a crossover in there, which involves the US dollar, but doesn't appear in the pair itself, but it is in the calculations. So to do the calculations with these cross-currency pairs, we must cross over the US dollar first. That's where the term comes from. And finally, we're going to look at a currency quote. When you have a pair, the quote will be what one of the base currency is of the quote currency. So in this case, this chart example, we're looking at the Euro USD, the Euro American dollar, and you can see on the chart there is a price, and that's circled in yellow as 1.30650. So that means 1 euro will buy 1.365 or 3065 American dollars. So 1 euro is worth $1.30 essentially American dollars. This is a currency quote. It's one base unit. So 1 euro will buy how much of the quote currency. If it's a US dollar Japanese yen, it will be 1 US dollar because it's the base will buy X amount of Japanese yen. This is essentially what the currency quote is. What one base will buy of 1 unit of the base currency will buy of the quote currency. And that's it for this short video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.